Hi, this is Digital Lady Sid. I just want to do a quick run through for you about how to make a lookup table for your color lookup adjustment layer. This is not hard to do, and I've explained this in a blog I created, which the link is down below in the YouTube information. If you want to click over on it, it gives you a lot more information on how to do this, and a couple other places you can find some nice tables to download and add into Photoshop, and where to add them in so you don't have to keep going into your Explorer to add the effect onto your image. But right now, let's make one real quick. I have an image here from Scotland, and I used 4 adjustment layers. The first one is a levels adjustment layer. The black was set to 3, midtones 0.68, and whites to 222. And if you want to see what effect this is having, I'll just turn those off. Notice that the opacity is at 58%. Next, I added a selective color adjustment layer, and in this case I only use yellows. The cyan was set to -39, magenta 0, yellow +12, and black +30. And I set it to relative instead of absolute. You need to play with those radial dials to determine which color effect you like. I usually have it on absolute, but in this case I like the effect better in relative, so you can do it either way. Next, you can go to another selective color adjustment layer, and this time we added neutrals in, and I set cyan at +1, magenta 0, yellow -13, black +15. And the last, and those are both set to 100%. Those, oh no, it isn't. The neutral one is set to 47% opacity, and the yellow selective color was set to 100. And the vibrance is set to 100, and the amount is +43 on the slider. I have my adjustment layers set up. You don't have to put them in a group. I did because it makes it easier for me to understand what I'm doing. But you can now go to create your LUT file. Notice you will get a negative dialog saying this isn't going to work if you do not have a locked file for your background layer. To get this, you cannot click up here and get it to work. You need to go to Layer, and you go to New, and you will see in the list grayed out there, it says Layer from Background. That's what you want to select, and it will put the lock on there for you. Now, once you have that set up, and there's more information on that in my blog on how to do that if you get a little bit of problem there. Go into Export and select Color Lookup Tables. There it is, and you get this dialog. You can change the description, you can change the copyright information if you want. I don't bother with it. You can make the lowercase or uppercase files, whatever you want to do. In this case, I set my grid points to 32 medium. You can set it to 64 high. If you have high resolution image, you might want to. It takes up more space and it takes longer to load, but a lot of people use 64 high. And now you have format choices. You can make as many as you want. Usually I use cube, but 3DL is also very popular. If you use cube, you're going to get some extra choices on how to adjust this particular type of file. So I'll show you that in just a minute. We're going to go with a cube, say OK, and now you have to go to a table or a place on your computer where you want to save it, and we're going to just save this one as SJ Darkly Bright 3. Whoops, Darkly. Okay, and say save, and that's going to save it down as a cube file because that's what I designated I wanted. Now, if I turn off the groups here, and I go and add, right here's where the color lookup adjustment table is, open that up, and if I go into the 3D LUT file, which is where most of the extension ones will be shown, instead of the device link, which contains all the ICC formats. So if you saved it down as a ICC, you can load those from Abstract or Device Link. But for cubes and 3DLs especially, you need to go into the 3D LUT file location and say load 3D LUT. Up here, click on that. I need to go back to my file where I saved it, my color lookup table folder. There it is, the new one I made, and click, and there it is. Now, if I turn off the group, it should look the same as when I just press the groups, and there you see it. Now you're going to see, because I used the cube, I've got this data order and table order. If you change these buttons, you will get different effects. See, that's a very different flat effect, and the table order, changing it that way, it looks very different than when I turn on that. This is what my my settings are as I saved it. I don't know how to change those buttons down there, but that's how they showed up. But if you mess around with this, you can get a different look, and by changing like something like this and your opacity, you know, it looks very different. Okay, the BGR is just another type of color space from the RGB. And RGB, apparently the red channel has a more significant place. In the BGR, the blue channel has a more significant place in the color space. So I don't understand that particularly, but that's exactly what is happening here. So we're going to put this back. Now, if I open up another image, and I have this image of another mom that I had done, if I go in and I add the same lookup table here, if I go in here and I go to it again, there it is. It looks pretty nice on this image here. In this case, I had also tried out a different lookup table here, and I believe this one I have it listed as the orange and blue, which is one I downloaded from Sparkle Stock, and there's a link to that in my blog if you want to download a couple other nice lookup tables that are available for free. So okay, anyway, that is all I really wanted to talk to you about. If you want to see more, you can go to my fun Photoshop blog at sidspics.wordpress.com. My Tidbits blog is where I just do what I feel like doing. It's all Photoshop, of course, at digitalladysyd.com. And I will catch you later. Bye.